with Sponge, or Mike Genova. I met him out on Long Island, and he was really the guy that I think we're most known for having sing for us, because he was with us the longest. And you know, when we got a little more well known, especially in Queens and Manhattan, which was like late '93 to 1996, he was in the band pretty much the whole time.
He just blew us away at the time. I mean, his voice was ranges that we didn't know. I mean, even in the studio, he was moshing around, jumping around, and he just seemed very outgoing and could look like he could handle a crowd great.
You ready to fucking go nuts or what?
For the first year, I would say up until like maybe the summer of '94, we really didn't have any problems with Sponge. He didn't really have a home, you know, which was kind of strange. He was kind of homeless. He moved out from Long Island to here and lived with me for like a year and a half. My mom would like wake him up in the morning for work and shit. We all tried to help him find jobs and stuff. And
we treated him, you know, like a brother, you know. He stayed over all our houses all the time. We fed him. I'd give him money.
You start seeing why they call him Sponge. And you start feeling sorry for someone like that, because you're like, you know, we're all blue-collar guys here. We're all guys trying to make it here. You know, don't go around thinking you're just this rock star.
with Sponge, it was like, you know, either I loved his idea or I fucking hated it. You know, there was no middle ground, so there was nowhere to compromise, because if I didn't like it, I was like, this shit ain't gonna work. There was one instance where we were recording our '95 demo, and I thought at the time that it should really be a band decision on how it was mixed. At the time, his girlfriend, Carol, spent a lot of time down at the studio, which I really didn't have a problem with. But she started, you know, well, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do this, and I'm like, yeah, you know.
I mean, I didn't mean to like get involved. I mean, like I was just like always around. There was this day that they were recording, I think like their second demo. They all left. I think Scott and Brian stayed to finish doing like the mix down of the songs. And then when Mike heard it, like he didn't like the way it sounded. Like he thought like it had too much like high end or low end. Like I just didn't think the mix was like good enough to be the final mix. He wanted to go in and redo it.
And he's in the car with Carol, and I'm in the back seat, and he just starts firing off all this shit. Well, you should do this, and fucking Carol said this, and Carol said that, and I just lost. I said, I don't give a fuck what Carol said.
It seemed to get to a point where everything started being everybody else's fault. He supposedly had a cold for like 2 years. That was everybody's fault. He really started slacking off, and he started butting heads with everybody. He was getting everybody pissed. And the main person he butted heads with was Scott.
In the end, Mike was about himself being successful. He just felt like things weren't gonna like turn out the way he hoped.
He gave the rest of the guys in the band an ultimatum that either I had to go or he had to go. And they just said, man, fuck you, bye. Which was, I mean, I was like, wow, thanks, you know, this and that. But I mean, it still put us in a spot, because now we don't have a fucking singer anymore.
Yeah.